We all experience stress. From an early age, everyone faces stressful situations. Though depending on how complex the condition is, we may not always sense it clearly. The concept of stress has firmly consolidated in everyday speech. It describes various events and situations that a person goes through. A project manager experiencing pressure from customers and a team. The athlete preparing for a competition and anticipating victory. A woman planning to become a mother and undergoing a change of her role. All these people feel stress. The problems can be completely different, but medical investigations have shown that the body reacts to stress stereotypically. In all cases, the same biochemical changes occur to cope with the events that led to the loss of psychological balance. To more easily overcome stressful situations and avoid their destructive consequences for mental health, it is worth understanding the nature and mechanisms of stress. Now, before we start distinguishing them, pause this video and think. How do you feel when you are under stress? What generates your stress? How do you usually cope with the stress? And how effective are these methods for you? And can stress be beneficial? And to understand the nature of stress, we have to address the origins of the concept. It all started with the 1936 study of Hans Selye entitled Syndrome Produced by Diverse Noxious Agents. It stated that stress is the body's response to any demand presented to it. The body needs to adapt or adjust to the irritant to restore its natural state. For the stress response, it does not matter how pleasant or unpleasant the situation we are faced with is. Let's consider this process using simple examples. First, in the cold, we shiver to generate more heat. The blood vessels of the skin narrow, reducing the loss of heat from the surface of the body. Second, a husband who discovered that his wife and child got into a plane crash experiences shock and grief, though when he finds out that they managed to survive, he feels intense joy. Although grief and joy are opposite human feelings, considering mental health and perception, their stressful effect on the body is similar. Hans Selye emphasized that stress is an essential component of human life. Our body is physiologically under permanent tension because it needs to receive and generate energy to maintain life. Even the sleeping person undergoes a kind of stress. The heart continues pumping blood, the intestinal tract digests yesterday's dinner, and the respiratory muscles provide movement of the chest. It has been confirmed long ago that even the brain continues working during sleep. Hans Selye said, quote, "In a state of complete relaxation, a sleeping person experiences stress. Total freedom from stress means death." End quote. His statement generates quite logical questions. If our body is constantly stressed, is it worth fighting it? And what is the degree to which stress affects us? Can stress be positive? In daily life, when we say about ourselves or someone else that a person experiences stress, it assumes that this person is enduring not just stress, but excessive stress or distress. Let's draw a simple parallel. When we say, quote, "I have a fever," it obviously means that we have hypothermia, since ordinary thermogenesis is an integral part of life and a sign that we are alive. Now, the concept of stress is more or less clear. But what is the meaning of distress then? Now we move to the types of classifications of stress. Now attention, from this point on there will be quite a few complex terms. Now there are 3 stages of stress reaction. First, stage of anxiety. Second, stage of resistance. And third, the stage of exhaustion. There are also 2 types of stress. First is eustress, which is positive stress. And second is distress, which is negative stress. The stage of anxiety begins immediately after one's body meets a stressor. Adrenaline is released into the blood, the pupils dilate, a strong heartbeat begins, and the blood flow is redistributed. The muscles become more active, the motor activity of the stomach and intestinal tract may be weakened. For example, imagine that you have received a call from the hospital and were told that your loved one got into a car accident and is now in the intensive care unit. The stage of resistance begins a little later and can last from several hours to several days. Metabolic processes are enhanced, inflammatory and immune reactions are suppressed, a kind of body mobilization in the fight against stress begins. After hearing about the car accident, you start searching for ways to deal with the situation. You can find out all the details by phone about how severe the injuries are and in what condition the person is in now. Maybe they were just frightened and you don't need to worry too much. These two stages are characteristic of positive stress or eustress. Eustress activates all the body's resources. It also helps to brace oneself, solve a problem or decide to pass an exam, hold a presentation of a new product, or even move to a new country. At this stage, the human body and mental health are rebuilt and adjusted to new, complicated conditions. Thinking processes are activated. It allows you to resolve the issue quickly. The current pace of life has accelerated, and information accessibility allows us to track instant changes worldwide. Every day we face the need to make decisions. Even the choice of where to get coffee can be stressful today. To summarize the above, stress is an integral and even necessary part of our lives. Mobilization and quick body responses to the situation helps us survive and adjust to the external environment. Imagine what would happen if our ancestors, at the sight of, say, a saber-toothed tiger, had not run away or attacked it, but would have remained in a Zen state. It's just that threat is not so obvious now. We are less concerned about physical survival and satisfying our hunger because these basic physiological needs are easily met. At present, more abstract questions such as recognition, self-fulfillment, and life purpose come to the fore. How to cope with anxiety and resistance. Of course, reaction and coping with the first stages of stress remain vital. Whether we get stuck in anxiety, close in ourselves, or direct energy to solve a situation. There are various limits of strength of human behavior in critical situations. One personality type collapses at the physiological level, so falls asleep from over-fatigue, stops responding to the environment, falls into a stupor. The second type breaks down at the mental level, so loses willpower, the ability to think or make decisions. The third personality type fails at the socio-psychological level, so retains physical and mental readiness, but changes life principles and attitudes. And when you face an unforeseen situation or suddenly start experiencing anxiety, first, pause. Breathe in and out deeply. Make 4 breathing cycles. Ask yourself, what has just happened? Do not concentrate on your feelings about the situation. List the facts that you saw, heard, felt on the body instead. It will help to find and determine the cause of the anxiety. What am I worried about? What is my distress about? What exactly caused such a reaction of the body in this situation? Does this distress concern a real or a hypothetical situation? And can I do something to influence this situation? If yes, then what? If no, shift your focus of attention. Third, instead of continuing to worry, make up a plan of action. What to do, how to do it, when to take action, now or when precisely in the future, so the time or the date. And what will help you recuperate? We have sport, so endorphins or quote-unquote happiness hormones are released during physical activity. Besides splashing out negative emotions you can develop physically, train your resistance to stress, and improve your feeling after waking up from sleep. Traveling, a method of changing the scene. It is not essential to move from home for a long time. Leaving a city or going for a walk can be enough. Relaxation and meditation methods. The constant practice of these helps develop disengagement in stressful situations and stop being so nervous about the little things, reducing the number of alerts. Frequent use of gadgets can become a stressor. You keep feeling stressed if your phone keeps getting constant alerts. Leave only the most important ones active. You can periodically check less significant chats or news resources. The stage of exhaustion happens during negative stress or distress. When we experience distress, our natural resources deplete quickly, which inevitably leads to negative consequences. Our reactions slow down, we feel general weakness, cease to adjust to stress. At the emotional level, we can experience unreasonable irritation, anxiety, fatigue, and even fear. If we continue ignoring distress for a long time, its symptoms can become chronic. This stage of distress negatively affects mental health and the body as a whole. The prolonged periods of such a condition can produce depression. Signs that eustress is evolving into distress. Physical and volitional activities decrease. Memory deteriorates and/or memory lapses appear. Attention capacity reduces. It becomes difficult to comprehend and understand the situation. The pace of thought processes slows down. Partial loss of complex intellectual, cognitive, and predictive ability skills. Promptness in decision-making becomes paradoxically combined with unjustified haste and fussiness, leading to the inability to control actions. Well, stress can be caused by different factors. The same circumstance or event may turn irrelevant for one person and cause a crisis for another. It is quite natural since everyone is different, meaning we all possess diverse life experiences, perceptions, and responses. Celia associates this with conditioning factors that selectively increase or inhibit a particular manifestation of stress. Conditioning can be internal, so genetic predisposition, age, gender, and external, ingestion of hormones, drugs, your diet. Psychological stress always serves as a response to a violation of personal psychological stability. It depends on how we perceive situations, which individual features and external reasons motivate us. Individual features: the discrepancy between expected and actual events, the discrepancy between the virtual and real worlds, stressful situations that are associated with personal beliefs and inadequate attitudes, so pessimism or optimism, religious or political, the inability to implement one's personal needs, including physiological needs, need for safety, need for belonging, respect, self-realization, inappropriate communication, so criticisms, negative expectations, unacceptable demands, and external reasons, living and working conditions, so domestic problems, working hard, complex relations with other people, your loved ones, colleagues, and strangers, economic factors, political factors, emergency incidents and circumstances such as serious illness, crime, and even natural disasters. Now pause the video and revise your life. What satisfies you? Do you like the way you live your life, and what do you miss? What would you like to change, add, or remove? How can you do it, and what do you need for this? What opportunities and resources do you already have? What else is necessary, and where can you get it? Physical overwork, exposure to harmful environmental factors, violation of the daily routine, short and superficial sleep, damage to the integrity of the skin and various organs, diverse injuries, operations, overheating, hypothermia, freeze burn, burns in general, hunger and thirst can all lead to physiological stress. Ask yourself about how good you can feel your body. What does the pain signal about? What does your body need? How can you take care of yourself? Go for a massage, get tested to check if everything is okay, and subscribe for sport. Which daily routine is proper for you? When are you more productive? What is your sleep schedule, and are you getting enough sleep? What can you do to improve it? So go to bed at a time which is comfortable for you, or not sit in front of a screen, maybe even go for a walk before sleep. Develop sensitivity to yourself. Listen to how you feel in your body. In the 21st century, several distinct types of stress affect our mental state. Informational stress, motive stress, a stress of big city residency. Informational stress. Now, we all live in a highly informational digital world. And here are some statistical data from the Global Digital 2021 report. So at present, roughly 5.2 billion people use a cell phone. That's 2/3 of the world's population. Since January 2020, the number of unique cell phone users has increased by around 2%, so 93 million people. In January 2021, around 4.5 billion people used the internet worldwide. And this is 316 million, so roughly 7% more than last year. Now, the internet penetration rate is around 60% at the moment. Social networks. At present, there are 4.2 billion users worldwide. Over the past 12 months, the number has increased by almost 500 million, which means that more than 13% at an annual rate, and roughly 50% of the world's population uses social networks in 2021. The number of social network users has increased by more than 13% over the past year. By the beginning of 2021, almost 500 million new users had registered on social networks. On average, over 1.3 million new accounts were created every day during 2020. That is approximately 15 new users per second. An ordinary user of social networks spends 2 hours and 25 minutes every day, at least on these platforms. According to the latest GWI research, the average internet user spends 3 hours and 40 minutes online from their cell phone every day. And generally, the average user now spends almost 7 hours a day online from all devices. So that's more than 48 hours a week, and that's 2 full days out of 7. Now, assuming that the average person sleeps 7 to 8 hours a day, this means that at present, we spend approximately 42% of our waking hours online. Now, we are online for almost as long as we are asleep. Our brain spends a tremendous amount of energy to perceive, process, analyze, differentiate, prioritize, and assimilate information that literally hits every second through social networks, through messaging services, through stories, media, etc. And fake and controversial news causes anxiety, i.e., every news has to be checked for accuracy. As a result, critical thinking decreases and set switching increases. It becomes difficult to focus on the video for more than 9 to 15 seconds or read long texts. The entire information world accustoms us to posts and tweets of a short format. Every minute, new information, which does not have time to undergo complete processing, enters our consciousness. It leads to a sense of insecurity and a lack of safety, anxiety, irritation, and fear. Our brain does not understand where and what the danger is, and what makes us experience emotions that signal a threat. But the groundlessness of the threats does not allow the situation to be resolved, and does not allow us to feel calm. Motive stress is one of the most common types of anxiety among people around the world. Normally, a person should walk 10,000 steps every day. Walking stimulates the active points of the feet, increases blood flow throughout the body, and keeps the brain in good shape thanks to the work of the muscles. Modern technology and working in an office near the computers deprives us of this opportunity. The stress of a big city resident is inseparably associated with motive stress. The city is an indispensable part of modern civilization, the universal concentration of social, political, informational, and managerial resources. All this makes it the most tempting form of vital activity organization. The metropolitan city attracts us with the illusion of a comfortable life, the opportunity to find a job, build a career, be in the center of cultural experiences, and to have fun. But the problem is that the very essence of a city contradicts the natural human living needs, which were formed evolutionarily. If previously a person went to bed with sunset, today artificial lighting forcibly stretches the day length. Living at a height of more than the 3rd floor, in the wild, people did not live at such heights. And constant background noise, which of course was not in the natural environment of human habitation, also lead to stress. Most of the time spent in front of the computer screen causes visual anxiety, lack of warm emotional contact. Superficial and formal communication lead to emotional stress. Constant changes and uncertainty transform security boundaries. What was previously considered stable can collapse in a second. There is no confidence in the future, especially now, in times of pandemics, information wars. The illusion of control and stability has completely collapsed. We face reality, in which there are many unknown variables. Much more can be listed, and I am sure you'll be able to supplement the list from your own experience. The main thing is to understand that all influences do not pass without leaving a trace for us. Stress is a response to the ongoing changes in our life, and if we cannot notice what worries us, it can accumulate over time. Our body and mind react physically and emotionally to any changes in the present state of things. The changes must not necessarily be negative. Positive changes might be stressful enough as well. Sometimes even the thought of upcoming changes can cause stress. Therefore, it is vital to learn how to remain calm and self-restraint. In subsequent episodes, we will analyze how to nurture psychological stability in ourselves and consider different aspects of our personality and our problems. Summing up the first episode, I'd like to give you a little homework. Examine your stress and answer the questions. How do you feel when you are stressed? What physical changes occur? Rapid heart rate and breathing? Heavy sweating? Diarrhea? What thoughts come to your mind? What are your emotions? What causes you stress? How do you feel while experiencing eustress and distress? How can you differentiate them by yourself? Teach yourself to respond to stress in a better and more productive way. Firstly, recall a few stressful situations. What was your reaction? What did you do? How much did it help solve the problem? Imagine how you could solve it differently using this pattern. Pause, breathe in and out deeply. Make 4 breathing cycles. Third, ask yourself, what has just happened? Do not concentrate on your feelings about the situation. List the facts that you saw, heard, and felt on your body instead. It will help to find and determine the cause of the anxiety. What am I worried about? What is my distress about? What exactly caused such a reaction of the body in this situation? Does this distress concern a real or a hypothetical situation? Can I do something to influence this situation? If yes, then what? And if no, shift your focus of attention. Instead of continuing to worry, make up a plan of action. What to do, how to do this, when to take action, now or when precisely in the future, so the time and the date. And think over how you will react and behave the next time you face a stressful situation. Reconsider your attitude and start taking care of yourself. In the psycho-emotional field, do you feel comfortable in your environment? Are you surrounded by supporting or criticizing people? What satisfies you? Do you like the way you live? And what is perhaps lacking? And what would you like to change, to add, or remove? How can you do it? And what is necessary for that? What opportunities and resources do you already have? What else is necessary for this? And where can you get it? Perhaps ask for support from a loved person. Get additional education. Take another job. In the physical field, how good can you feel your body? What does the pain signal about? What does your body need? How can you take care of yourself? So can you go for a massage, get tested to check if everything is okay, subscribe to sports? Which daily routine is proper for you? When are you more productive? What is your sleep schedule, and are you getting enough sleep in general? What can you do to improve it? Maybe go to bed at a time which is more comfortable for you. Do not sit in front of a screen before going to bed. Maybe go for a walk before going to bed. Develop sensitivity to yourself. Listen to how you feel in your own body. Write down an action plan for reducing stresses and improving your life. What can you start doing today?